So with that, ladies and gentlemen, let's move ahead quickly to the reimagining the future of banking. What does an AI native bank truly look like? First off, I'd like to call upon the stage Mohit Nanda, Deputy CTO of IDBI Bank. Well, a technology leader with over 18 plus years of experience driving digital transformation and enterprise scale and IT initiatives in banking. Let's give Mohit a warm round of applause as we welcome him. We'd also like to call upon Sharad Jambukar, the head IT of Aadhar Housing Finance. Of course, Aadhar Housing Finance having 580 plus branches with a AUM of $250 billion. Somebody who has accomplished digital transformation, integrating the business activities all together on a single platform for over 1 lakh plus users. Thank you so much, Sharad, for joining us on the same. We'd also like to call upon Ashok Mali, the CTO of IREP Capital, bringing in more than 21 years of experience of career success in design, development, deployment, and delivery in complex business application programs and projects. We'd also like to call upon Mr. Akash Surekha. Let's give him a warm round of applause as we welcome him. So ladies and gentlemen, Akash, of course, has been the ex-MD in JP Morgan, has been with NVIDIA, Microsoft, Motorola, and somebody with his current startup, and he's going to be here to collaborate with us on this subject matter as well. Thank you so much, Akash, for joining us on the same. We'd also like to thereby extend a warm welcome to our moderator, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Nikhil Kurhe. A big round of applause as we welcome him. The co-founder and CEO of Finarkin Analytics, of course, they've been such an incredible support. They've been focusing on open data standards and development of advanced data products. Personally, with over 6,000 plus followers, he's somebody who's recognized for driving digital public infrastructure and open digital ecosystems in India. Nikhil, we're looking forward to your expertise in collaborating with all the panel for this topic. With that, let the applause continue as we welcome all our speakers. So with that, may I request all of you to kindly be seated, and of course, Nikhil, if you can take forward the charge of leading us with this conversation.
Sure. So, hi everyone. I hope you guys had a great previous session around insurance, and I know we are standing between lunch breaks, so we'll keep it a very interesting, snazzy session. I think the topic is around how data and how an AI first banking institution would look like, let's kick that off. So I'd like to start with you. So I think you given your history where you've worked with global banks as well. Have you seen challenges with respect to how legacy tech and transformation projects take time to sort of evolve, but everybody knows that it is a bottleneck, like let's say siloed data, networks and systems. But how does somebody within a bank really push for change? Because usually change means putting your neck out there, and if something is already working, oftentimes there is pushback for these transformation projects. And I think the very obvious example around this is naturally the core banking systems that are there. But we'll not go there. We'll stick to how some of these data roadblocks can be unlocked, and the context being, of course, that everybody can talk however long they want around AI, but it is going to be how well your data pipes are built within the bank to effectively leverage these networks. So would love to hear your perspective on how have things happened in global large banks, and let's start there.
Yeah, no, thanks, Nikhil. Thanks for having me here. Look, I'll give a JP Morgan experience, right? So I was the CEO of the large travel and loyalty business, which is part of the credit card business, which is part of the consumer banking business, right? And you can imagine, we ourselves had a lot of legacy systems, first of all. Because travel is going for a very long time. We acquired few companies from last 10 years. So we had different systems coming from different, companies we've been acquiring. We had our own legacy systems. We had our own proprietary systems. Then we had systems which we built, and then we had systems which is from the vendors. So you can imagine just in our company as part of travel loyalty business, it was so huge portfolio of applications and systems. Then you go to a bank, we got acquired by JP Morgan, right? And then we got additional, maybe hundreds of applications to integrate, right? So the complexities are absolutely humongous. And I think which is where I think some of the panelists in the previous panels have said that data is the key, by the way, right? And what is happening today is because there is pressure on AI, everybody wants to do something in AI. But then you have this siloed application, and a lot of my peers will agree to it. So many siloed applications. At one point of time, I didn't even know where my data resides. And that is reality today. A lot of CIOs, good friends of mine, they also say that I don't even know where my data is, right, as an example. So then if you have an AI pressure coming from the board, hey, what are you doing in AI, right? So then you have to say, oh yeah, I'm actually doing something in AI. Let me get my systems right. Let me get my data right. And that is a humongous sort of a task. In JP, my P&L was roughly around $7.5 billion, by the way, in just the travel and loyalty business. Or hundreds of millions of dollars we're only spending to get the data aggregation right. Forget about the data cleansing, data lineages, data pipelines, and so on and so forth, right? Just to get the siloed data in place. Now that required, to your question, right, how do you do this change? That is purely attitude in the company coming from the top. So for example, Jamie Dimon is spending billions of dollars on AI, by the way. So he was very clear that AI will be required in the companies for various other advantages, right? So they've been spending a lot of money. So I think from the top, the CEOs and the boards have to be proactive in nature to understand what's coming your way, and you have to invest. Right? You can't say, do this small POC and show me an outcome, and then maybe I'll decide on top of it. Right? You have to go in, full out, right? And which is where I think that change, that attitude has to come from the top. And then it requires time. Don't rush on AI outcomes unless you have your data infrastructure right, basically. You will fail. Garbage in garbage. A lot of people have spoken about garbage in garbage. That is actually a reality. Which is where today, by the way, the average cost of POC, if you have not known about it, so a lot of POCs are failing. MIT said 95% of AI projects fail. Gartner says sometimes 40%, sometimes 60%, sometimes 70%. Even if you take average of it, 50% of AI agentic projects, by the way, are going to fail by end of 25, right? Why? Because you start with the wrong data, bad data, siloed data, blah, blah, and so on, and you want to have AI outcomes, and that to use the large models like language models, right? Now you understand the large language model is a language model. It's been changed, it's been trained on English, it's been trained on dictionaries, it's been trained on web content. Now you want to do that on risk modeling. What's going to happen? You still consume thousands of GPUs. The failure rates are going to be still high. And you'll be spending those 12 months on that running a POC. It's not the right start, right? So which is where I think a lot of these things have to come together to get the right AI outcomes if you want to become an AI native bank. Which is where actually the Nova.ai is actually helping a lot of companies to reduce those effort cycles. Because we are the world's first company who've taken a very different thesis, by the way. We said that you don't need to take a large model and retrofit because that consumes infrastructure, GPUs, and so on and so forth. We have come out with models which are made for business outcomes of a use case. We're the world's first company to build 1,000+ models, but that's a different story. So.
Sure. No, thank you for, I think, sharing that perspective. My takeaway from that is, I think the unsaid bit is, we need a culture where graceful failures around these experimentation need to also be accepted in the industry.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's something that's not quite out there, which is what also drives hesitancy for new pilots. And
yeah, I think as fail fast is a common term in startups, I think fail fast in companies is also has to be in the culture.
Sure. So, and I want to do like a open question for everyone here. To really make AI happen, I think everybody is focused on the execution side of things. But what we see severely lacking, even frankly in our company as well as I'm sure at enterprises, is there is a lack of investment in actual research. So how many banks or BFSI companies are actively going out looking for, let's say, PhDs or like senior research folks in AI or adjacent data areas, and proactively saying that I will take the risk to go set up a research team, and we will ask them to really work on not just bringing in what's out there from an execution or an implementation point of view, but rather build something specifically for, let's say, the Indian banking infrastructure. Is that something you guys are seeing in your respective organizations or industries today? Or if not, what do you think it'll take to make something like this happen? It's open for everyone.
So, thanks for having me on the panel. It's a very good question, what is our readiness and all that. But everything boils down to the one basic thing which sir said just now.
Yeah.
What is our preparedness? Are we doing enough amount of research? Are we investing that? Most of the banks we see are occupied with various regulatory related stuff, and that is their primary, because they have to do it, and that is an regulator's ask. And before that, it is imperative, like, of course, that research is important. And then as data is also sitting in silos. And collating that entire data to ensure that our AI models are ready. See, one thing is sure, that now at the board level, at most of the banks, there is quite amount of matureness in terms of the AI. Everyone has to go for AI, everyone has to implement that particular approach. But is that ready at the bank's level? Most of the data is sitting in silos. And wherever there are integrations, like in previous panel, ma'am said, implementations on AI is happening, it is there. But it is on a purely need basis, and wherever there is some amount of proactiveness. And that proactiveness somewhere, when we look down into the systems, are we ready with the data? Are we having the entire integrations in place and at the systems level? Or even if we are ready with the integrations, is the system capable of hosting the APIs for carrying out the integrations? I'm talking about the very, very ground level, so that at least we can have the data in place to carry out that level of maturity in the AI models, where you will be able to implement such kind of thing. And then at the board level, we have to give that insight. Yes, we have that maturity at the systems level. We have that maturity at the maybe at the data level. And then how far is the data clean? All that once it is provided, and then it is at the board level which finally decides that yes, we are okay to implement that much level of investment. And what is our ROI on that? When is that going to get, we'll have full leverage on that particular point. So I think boards have made up their minds, and the leadership is also well on track. But the ground level readiness, the ground level preparedness is must.
Thanks for having me. In my experience, some of the companies have started having AI strategy. They also identify certain use cases by asking all the stakeholders and trying to validate. What we have observed that many times whatever is possible by traditional technologies is also considered as a AI use case, which becomes slightly difficult across the various functions, and various functions tries to push that as a AI use case, which is not. One of the approaches which I have seen in my earlier experience, that first of all moving everything to cloud, ensuring that entire data is digitized, and post that looking at using AI to identify the data discrepancies, and post once you are having complete clarity on the AI use case, then you can do a tie-up with any of the implementation partner and try to take any LLM model and try to see how you can use cases like we have seen, like CAMP, wherein a lot of structured, unstructured data needs to be evaluated for corporate finance, and we have to go through some 400, 500 pages documents wherein the TAT was high. We have to reduce those kind of use cases, or customer service kind of use cases we have seen. In a smaller companies, in my experience, we will not have that appetite to get into investment on AI, but we will be more cautious of looking at the use cases which are used in the industry, which are successful, and try to use those use cases, maybe text analysis or speech to text or image analysis or image masking, those use cases we try to push it from our implementation partner. So we will want to choose to take the use cases which are successful and adopt them. That is how industry is currently happening.
So Nikhil, I want to give different perspective on the research initiatives in the banks as well as financial services companies. See, typically it is all important from the cornerstone of how the innovation culture is in the organization. And largely banks which has innovated or the organizations which have that culture of doing something different that will have positive impact on themselves and their customers, they have been always the front runner and they have always captured the market. And I'm proud of to be alumni of such a bank. Now point is that this innovation, are people able to define properly? Are they able to give the space? Are they able to commit the resources to this innovation? That is a big question, and that is what you have been asking. It is not only in the context of AI, but it is in the context of technology as such. So technology adoption and then utilizing that technology for the better improved processes and profitability and customer experience. These are the key goals which every board or every bank shareholders would like to look forward to into reflecting into financial performance. But the challenge is that the commitment of the management towards this innovation is extremely important. So as there are, there are almost 89 scheduled commercial banks in the country, then there are 9,000 plus NBFCs in the country, and then there are almost 60 plus insurance companies in the country. Are everybody focused on, or can they afford to focus on building research as one of the function in their organization? Answer is no. So it is not a direct availability of such resources or the commitment from the organizations, except few banks. And that is where referring to the George Westerman's model of digital transformations, you look at one axis managerial capability and one axis you look at technical capabilities of the organizations. And both where it is high, those are the digital leaders. Similarly for AI also, it is the same applicability. Now what is happening, the resources, the time, the investment of those use cases, checking that, doing POCs, all this requires lot of commitment, which I don't think everybody is able to put. Based on my experience over last 25 years, I have been doing this thoroughly, every job, and that helps us to build a dynamic capability in the technology organization in the banks. And for that we need a rigorous commitment, proof of concepts, engagement with new vendors, meeting people, exploring new ideas, and building that capabilities. So it takes a lot of toll. But the important point which you were asking for, what is the academia contribution into this? My observation over last 5 years, academia quality of this contributing to the R&Ds and all is not that great. I am not able to get the good candidates or good interns to do the proper projects, though I have created 40 projects over last 2 years for various technology, AI, whatever modelings. But I am not able to get a good candidates and the commitment from the academia. So typically banks or financial institutions, we are not here to do charity. We want to do something meaningful which has got some results, and then only it will be look forward to as a positively. So I think I have tried to give a different perspective that financial institutions, banks, they are ready to do experimentation, but at the same time, as it is uncertain and there is no continuous flow from the academia or the possibilities, it is in the nascent stage only. What it was 40 years ago, it is still there only, is what my reading.
No, fair enough. I think maybe while these are difficult questions, I think answers maybe lie in interbank organizations like IBA or somebody else, stepping up to sort of say that we will put the resources and the talent behind it. And equally, I feel like you mentioned, it's also a talent problem that the naturally the kind of talent required to work on some of these problem statements and innovative technologies, they always have options, they always have choices. So beyond compensation, there are factors of culture, there are you need a particular kind of support from the leadership.
Typical challenge is technology is available. I've been working with IIT Bombay, Sign as a mentor for two two startups. But the technology they have, but when they have to come and sit with us and understand the functional domain and solve the problem, that is where the lack is. Or, this is one of the experiment and the observation. I cannot generalize it, but this is something, the functional understanding of insurance business, of banking business, all that is extremely important to really build some product which has got useful and commercial use case.
No, fair. I think build something that the market really wants. That is the key takeaway. And since I think we are a little short on time, I want to also wrap this up with a open question that I am willing to take a bet that a decade out, the top 10 banks will see a new entrant, will see somebody who's maybe not on the horizon today, and one or more of these banks will be banks which will be digitally native, AI native. I know building a neobank has been a very difficult business in India due to various challenges. That being said, I'm sure there will be a couple of existing as well as new challenger banks who will have technology very native to their DNA, and would love to hear what you think would be attributes or characteristics for this bank of the future. And let's go left to right.
Yeah, I think we'll have to, the question which comes up is, does it have to be AI native bank or it has to be AI assistive bank? It has two different meanings. AI native banks is, for example, in the agentic world, agents are doing anything and everything. In AI assistive world, it is humans who's taking care of the front ending, but there is a help in the back end which is taken care by the agents, right, as an example. It all depends upon what the customer experience you want to build up. I think in emerging countries like India, it is very difficult to go with an AI native bank. Now to your question, I believe there's this whole thing in Valley which is going on, by the way, where all of these billionaire founders of LLM companies have a WhatsApp group, which is $1 billion company. There, everybody is trying to do something in LLM world such that there are companies who are coming out, startups, where will be 1% company who could be a $1 billion company. The question goes same to banks. Could there be a 1-person bank which would be a $1 billion bank? Right? But I believe that banking is, obviously banking, insurance is all about customer experience and trust. So it has to be an AI assistive bank in my personal opinion, as opposed to an AI native bank, because there's money flowing in. There's real money flowing in, right? That's the only difference between other companies and banking and insurance, right? So I think it has to be an AI assistive bank versus an AI native bank. Would we see such banks coming up more and more? The answer is yes, absolutely. But I think it is all how this whole AI industry, AI technologies, they mature, they evolve. How does this whole human in the loop works together and so on and so forth, and then how do you reduce? I think it's a matter of time, maybe 4, 5 years, 6 years, but we will see, I would say, low volume in terms of people in the bank, but a very high value getting generated, primarily using these AI assistive technologies.
Yes, I feel there will be new entrant in this segment because whoever have started business recently, they have that leverage to learn from the mistakes, as well as most of the banks' legacy tech stack becomes a burden on them to innovate very quickly, because they have a legacy data. Many times these legacy data was only loan management systems or the collection system. They never had that customer underwriting piece fully digitized some 5-10 years back. Now it has started digitizing. So those challenges will definitely create an opportunity for the new entrant to use the latest tech. Maybe they also have the ability to use the new tech stack, wherein the AI agents will do lot of work, and also they will be able to do that work smartly with a lesser manpower. But at the same time, they have to also take care of the operational and the credit risk and all other aspects, because if there are any loopholes in those models, they will be exposed. So those are other things which will emerge. I feel there will be, but there will be also new acquisitions which will happen, because these new existing banks which are big enough to acquire these small tech companies, they may just acquire them and take it into their kitty and try to. But a lot of new learnings, skill set, manpower skill set needs to be added and changed. That is what my feeling on this point.
So, question is right. Will there be an AI bank? Yes, there would be AI bank soon in the country. Within 10 years' time, we will see a full-fledged AI bank, because the way India as a country, we have demonstrated our prowess building payment infrastructure, the banking infrastructure, the kind of RBI hub of innovation, and all these things are happening. It is possible. We already there in digital currency. So I think AI banks, we will see certainly in 10 years a complete digital native AI bank in the country. That I am for sure. Based on all the readings and estimates, I find that is possible. Now, will every bank become AI bank? May not be possible. Given to the population, given to the customer segments, every segment requires a different treatment and different accessibilities. I think from that perspective, whatever we have as a banking infrastructure will remain. It will grow as it is anyway growing. But at the same time, these are the pockets of excellence where we will see the AI bank. The existing banks will adopt up to 25 to 50% AI in all their operations, and certainly the challenges will be more on a customer service, customer experience, and the social engagement, which happens at the workplace and at the marketplace, which is in the banking transactions. So we already have started seeing the stress in the customer experience in the banking sector today itself, given the digital adoption itself. Gen Z versus the old population, or the, I will say, new population and old population. This is the new difference that will emerge. So AI ready population and not AI ready population. So this difference will always remain there. And I think there is a positive outlook that AI will help banking to do better.
So just one thing I want to make a contradictory observation, by the way. What's happening you know why IBM shares is going up? IBM share value has gone more than up by 30%. You know why? Because banks are going back to mainframes. So, you know.
No, that is true. See, again, what I am trying to tell, the banks will become AI native for the customers, because it is possible. I was reading few days ago, as easily you open the Gmail account, it is possible to open a bank account today in country. It is possible. You are able to transfer money within a seconds and just a click. It is possible. So we are already there. It is only the matter that how the AI agents will make our decision making and experience better.
Yeah, I'll conclude fast. The only thing I want to add to this is that I think AI banks will be possible. There is no doubt on that. But it will be led by fintech collaboration as well, because fintech collaboration cannot be ruled out. And banks have the expertise in terms of the compliance, in terms of the processes and functional expertise, which Sir was talking about some time back. Now, fintechs will bring their technologies and their innovation. The only thing they need is scale and the data. So once that is available, this possibility is bound to happen. This is a must. This will happen, of course. Thanks.
Thank you. I would like to add my one point here before we conclude. I think there is also an opportunity for I think a lot of people talk about banking being necessary, but you know, the role or shape a bank will play will evolve. So I definitely think there's an opportunity for an infrastructure play as well, where like somebody with a banking charter who is building infrastructure natively to offer to incumbents as well as challengers. I think that is a very interesting opportunity. We are seeing that play out in markets beyond India. I'm sure it's only a matter of time where we see something like that play out here as well. So thank you, everyone. Thank you very much.
Wherever there is a freshness and and fresh thinking. Is working? Fresh thinking and fresh mindset, leaving the legacy, that whatever you are talking, that will succeed. So that objective is, when the HDFC Bank started, they started with all freshness. That's why you could see faster growth. Wherever if you have the legacy and along with that you want to try all this, it will be investment, but return is not up to the expected. So आप youngsters है ना, अभी नया लाइसेंस RBI ने दिया, आप सबको वो मौका है फ्रेशनेस से AI related objective पहले बताना. Objective should be clear. कस्टमर एंगेजमेंट, कस्टमर सेटिस्फैक्शन, कस्टमर ट्रस्ट, ये तीनों को लेके हम AI किया तो दैट विल बी ए वेरी गुड प्रोडक्टिव ग्रोथ एंड फास्टर ग्रोथ. विश यू ऑल द बेस्ट. थैंक यू वेरी मच, निखिल.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And ladies and gentlemen, with that, I'd also like to invite Kasturi Sengupta, Archana Vaze, and Aruna Mahesh to please join us and help us in giving a token of appreciation to all our leaders on stage. We just request the ladies to join in, and may we request you to please join us on stage for giving the token of appreciation. So thank you so much to all our speakers. Thank you, Nikhil, for leading this for the team, and we're just requesting Mrs. Kasturi, Archana and Aruna to please join us and help us in giving a token of appreciation to all our leaders. Let that applause continue, ladies and gentlemen. Reimagining the future of banking. What does an AI native bank truly look like? On the other side, we're going to be concluding before lunch with our next session, which is AI in capital markets, use cases, risks, and challenges. So stay tuned, as we're now going to be inviting our next set of panelists on stage. With that, may we request all of you to step forward for a group photograph, preferably in front of the table, so that we can have a better photograph with everyone together. AI Conclave 2025, day 2, ladies and gentlemen. Let that applause continue, please.